The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Broadcasting from the campus of Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is on the air. Your chance to hear from Liberty head women's basketball coach Alexis Sherard comes your way on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is also brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time. Carter Bank. Life lived full. Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Lynchburg Nissan. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. Rogers Heating and Cooling, servicing Greater Lynchburg's HVAC and electrical needs. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow. And by the United States Space Force. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Mills for three. Yes! Avery Mills from 3rd Street. Liberty leads 57-51.
Now let's talk Liberty Flames women's basketball. Here's your host, the voice of the Lady Flames, Jamie Hall.
Welcome into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. Lady Flames coming off of a loss against Delaware, trying to bounce out of a 3-game losing streak, and they'll have a chance to do that on the road this week as their 3-game road trip continues at Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. We'll talk with head coach Alexis Sherard about those games and recap the Delaware game a little bit later on in the show. But right now, we've got a very special guest on, and last year at this time, it's funny, I always like to bring up my faults, but last year at this time, I completely botched the introduction.
I remember.
So I almost said this year, I'm just going to have you introduce yourself, and then that way I've got no chance of screwing this up. But Maleah Alexander is our guest this week.
Hello.
And Maleah, last year we learned about your famous athletic family with your Uncle Sean playing in the NFL. Your father was an athlete. Your brother playing at North Carolina, and I believe it was your grandfather that played at Alabama as well under Bear Bryant.
Yep.
So I guess you're continuing that tradition. And for those that didn't get a chance to see the podcast from last year, let's just recap that a little bit. Like I said, there's a lot of athletes in your family, and you said it didn't put any pressure on you, but you do probably, as a kid, kind of think, well, there's got to be some talent in my bloodline here. So it probably pushed you towards athletics a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, definitely growing up, like I've always had a love for sports. I was put in sports like as soon as I could walk. So definitely that love and passion for athletics and sports like definitely came naturally. But yes, I have my uncle played for the Seahawks, Sean Alexander. I also have a cousin right now in the NFL, Derek Barnes. He plays on the Lions. My dad was kind of an athlete in high school and stuff. He ended up going the band route. He played the quad, like drums, at Notre Dame. So he's more the musical side. My brother, he plays football. Right now, he's making a transition actually out of North Carolina. So we'll see where he ends up next. And then, a lot of family members had a couple that played soccer. I have a younger cousin that plays hockey. Like we just have like a lot of, yes, I have a couple cousins on the track team here at Liberty. So really just all different kinds of sports, which I love. Like I love that we kind of have a variety of people that play. So I didn't, feel super pressure, in one particular sport or whatever. So I'm very, very blessed to have a lot of family members.
Well, the hockey one caught my attention. Male or female cousin? Male.
Yeah,
okay.
And he's younger, but he travels all over for hockey.
Out of the Kentucky area? Same area?
He lives in Florida.
So I'm thinking north.
Yeah,
And hockey is obviously it's become a north, south, east, west game. They're playing it in the desert and they're playing it down south and everywhere. Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever? not played hockey maybe, but have you ever skated, or do you like the ice?
No, I mean, Cincinnati, you would think, but I never got into that at all. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we talked about you playing soccer last year. And so the one thing I don't think I asked you last year was soccer and basketball. It's hand-foot coordination. It's a little bit more hand-eye in basketball, but footwork's important too.
Very.
So did soccer play into your being a good basketball player?
Oh, absolutely. Especially like just speed, quickness, like that's a lot of soccer, like a lot that I worked on. And so my training very much correlated for both and helped me like tremendously, especially because in Kentucky, soccer's in the fall. So like I was going straight from soccer to basketball. And obviously, the transition from the field to the hardwood is a little bit different, but still the quickness, the speed, the endurance, like completely translated, and it was great.
You never really had to worry about getting into basketball shape because you'd ran your tail off in soccer already.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was just going up and down. Yeah. So it was totally fine.
Could you see yourself, and I know we kind of touched on the coaching thing a little bit last year too, like that's something that, now, but you've had a year now more to think about that. So, and the fact that you've got the basketball and the soccer background, even if it's not professional coach, it's not, I want to be a college coach or a WNBA coach or a women's soccer league coach, if it's just at some point when you've got kids and you're coaching your kids youth soccer or youth basketball, could you see yourself doing that?
A little bit. When I talk to people, I'm like, I don't know if I really want to, especially like coach my kids. I don't know. Like, I mean, my dad like coached me and stuff, but I do like also to like just be on the sideline and watch, I think. But I think I'm more of like, I'd be more of like a trainer, like kind of like one-on-one. I think I like more of the like personal training or just doing the one-on-one, rather than like coaching a team, if that makes sense. Yeah.
And psychology, is that still the avenue you're going?
Yep. Okay. Still sports psych. Yep.
So you're talking about life coaching as much as sport coaching?
Yes, very much. Yep. A lot of, working on that. I would love to do the physical side, but right now studying like just the mental side of sports and everything like that. So yes, that would definitely be up my alley.
Well, you mentioned your brother, and I don't want to kind of call out his situation because it's not any of my business. But the psychology side of it, he's probably dealing with that right now. If he's trying to make that transition and decide what's right for him and where he needs to be and what he wants to do, have you been able to help him through that process at all?
Yes, of course. He doesn't always want to listen to Big Sis. No, I'm kidding. No, we're super close and whatever. But yeah, for sure. Like just allowing him to like, be able to process like just some emotions, because it is hard, and making a transition and a switch. But, in general, like I really just want to be able to help all athletes in their situation, whether that's on the court, on the field, whatever, and off the court.
Very cool. Is there anything in your classes that you've learned since the last time we talked that maybe would be good for our listeners? I mean, there could be some high school kids right now that are listening to this because they're thinking about coming to Liberty and they're watching the podcast. Anything you could pass along to them?
I really have to think. I mean, there's just so many, like I recently just took like social psychology, which was really interesting, like learning how we interact with others and others around us. I mean, a lot of even talking about like conformity. And I mean, that's even going back to like biblical, like, how much like others influence what we do, and so in ways it can be good because, whether that's leadership or, watching somebody, on TV, like I want to be like them. But also that can be negative, and the way that you conform when you shouldn't be conforming in that way, or, talks about in the Bible, like conforming to the patterns of this world, like that is against what the Lord wants us to do. And so I think that one was a big thing that I like touched on or like just really like connected to and learned from this past like semester, like learning about conformity and how much that influences us.
How difficult is it? Because I know there's principles of, any science, whether we're talking about psychology or if we're talking about anything to do with the mind or individuals.
Yeah.
Even I'm sure medical doctors have to think about this too. There's principles, and you go, this is the sort of the standard, but then every individual is so different, and what works for one person in the psychological realm might not work for someone else. Is that something that when you eventually get into your career, that's the toughest part maybe, is to kind of evaluate the individual before then you can figure out what the best diagnosis is?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really cool too. I'm actually just got out of this class I'm going to be taking this semester. It's called Psychology and Christianity, and kind of connecting those two, which I think will be really, really interesting. But for sure, evaluating the individual before applying the principles, because like you said, everybody's so unique and different, and even how our brain is wired and everything, you never know, but I'm excited to be able to apply that.
Well, you get a nice training ground because your team has so much diversity. Yeah. Different parts of the world, different parts of the country, and then even still, when it comes down to it, a girl playing basketball in Iceland or a girl playing basketball in Spain or in Kentucky, there's a lot of similarities too. There's the love of the game, there's the athleticism, there's things that everybody's dealing with. So you get to kind of, I don't know that you're testing out your theories on your teammates or not, but
for sure.
But you can at least be kind of using them as if not guinea pigs, at least examples in your own mind as you go, okay, moving forward, you've got some pretty good, you get some pretty good case studies, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of the girls would even say I'm kind of like the team counselor anyway, just by a lot of people come to me when they're just going through something or whatever, just need a little pick me up or encouragement. So, not that I intentionally use what I'm learning on them, but for sure, what I'm learning and studying is very applicable, and I'm going to be able to use that one day,
I know we're putting more and more attention on the mental health aspects of sports, and we see even mental health awareness games and months and different campaigns. Do you feel, and I know you're young into your college career, even just your first year playing, second year on the team, but from maybe your days of being a middle school to a high school athlete and then now into college, do you feel that it's getting better as far as coaches and professionals that even the referees and anybody involved in athletics kind of understanding that aspect of it?
I do. I think that more than ever, we just have more access to resources and stuff, whether that is a psychologist or having the ability to share something anonymously, with a higher authority. I think that it's just important that we have the resources, and I think that we do, especially here at Liberty. I think it does, depend on the school too. I think, right. Some schools might not have all the resources that we do have here, and I'm very thankful for it. But definitely since I was growing up in middle school, high school, it's talked about a lot more.
And the fact that you've got family members that have played at the highest level of athletics, I'm sure that's a pretty good resource as well. You can go to, hey, Sean, I got a couple questions for you. When you're playing for $1 million bonus, if you make it to the Super Bowl, how does that affect it? And I don't know if he did, but a lot of times you do. There's such amazing incentive to either having a better individual season or even you're getting a bonus if the team does better. Yeah. As opposed to when you're playing high school basketball and you're playing for the love of the game. It's a totally different environment. For sure, yeah. And I think I even hear the other side of when they didn't get help or they weren't able to and it's sad because a lot of time now none of my family members thankfully went off the deep end or whatever, but still just a lot of struggles that they had to endure. Then I think the college game is a little bit different now with NIL, so a lot of my older family members don't really understand that when it was in college they're right. I can't imagine that, but obviously once they went professional or whatever. But yeah, still grateful to have family to talk to and learn from as well. Yeah, it's crazy that I had to go back to high school to be able to just absolutely say for the love love of the game because that's not always the case in college anymore.
Right.
Division III, there's certain levels where it's basically hasn't changed any or very little, but at the Division I level, especially the Power IV level, I don't know. I can't fathom, and I understand when you're a quarterback and you're on Miami or Ole Miss or Alabama, and you have a great year, and then somebody goes, hey, you've got an extra year of eligibility. I think if you move to here or to there, you can make $1 million more. That's big time money. I don't care how old you are. And
Seriously.
I'd probably have to make those same decisions that people are making right now.
Right.
But the ones I don't understand is when you play for a 4-year career and you're at 4 different universities and they're having to deal with the transition and learning a new coaching staff every single year and new teammates every year. And the chances of you being able to have a degree when your 4 years is done is it's impossible because of how many credits that you would lose. So good luck in your profession because there's going to be some major challenges in the next, they're already there, but certainly by the time you graduate, it's probably going to be even more so. So sometimes does it seem a little daunting what you're going to be trying to help others deal with?
Yes and no. I feel like every profession has its challenges. So I think being able to kind of be in it to some certain kind of degree, I'll be able to relate or even just learning from others, yes, it's this is really going to be a much need. But again, I feel like the Lord has really called me into that. So I'm excited.
Well, that sounds good. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about your transition from being a redshirt last year to now playing basketball and how the season's going and kind of what the future holds as far as that's concerned as well.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll be back right after this timeout here on the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community. And that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
You're listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Today's show will continue after this 1-minute timeout on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Thousands of our teammates make and deliver 300 of the world's best brands and flavors, locally. From the heartland to the coast, in big cities and small towns. Our products are moving, and our trucks are rolling. We share a passion and a purpose, and we love to refresh and serve our communities. We are Coca-Cola Consolidated, your local bottler.
At Carter Bank, we believe life is best lived full of opportunities and dreams, of goals achieved and promises kept. We've been creating opportunities for more people and businesses to prosper since 1974. That means great local lending, convenient access to your money, accounts and guidance that make it easier to get more done. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames Athletics. Visit carterbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hi, this is Alan York, asking you to join the team as a member of the Flames Club. As a Flames Club member, you can make a difference by directly contributing to the success of Liberty Athletics. The Flames Club's mission is to raise the financial support needed to provide our coaches and student athletes with the resources to compete for championships. Membership levels vary and begin at just $75. Some gifts may even be tax deductible. When you join the Flames Club, you're truly investing in champions and championships. Join today at libertyflamesclub.org.
back in. We're with Maleah Alexander here on the Lady Flames Basketball Show. I think I just changed the name of the show. I think it's the Liberty Women's Basketball Show. But
sure.
Yeah, it can kind of have it's sort of like
dual name.
Yeah, like a dual
it.
name, like a nickname. Like, do you have a nickname?
I actually do. I do. Yeah, a lot of my teammates call me Lee or Lily or Leah.
Okay.
They kind of just shorten it, like whatever comes out.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Back home, I'm Lily. So.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Perfect. Now, I'm probably diving into restricted waters here, but do you have a middle name?
I do.
Do you like your middle name?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I can share. It's Lynn. So Lynn, our basketball teammate, we share that, and also Coach Sherard's nickname for me is Maleah Lynn. He always says the full government name, which it's fine. It's fine.
That's funny.
Yeah, I like it though.
I feel like I've heard him say that before, so now that clicks.
You
that
probably
makes
have.
sense.
You probably have. Yeah.
Yeah, he has some unique ways. How has the adjustment been? And I know you were only 1 year redshirted under Coach Green, but recruited, I'm sure, by both of them. So how has this transition gone for you?
It's been great. I love Coach Lex. I obviously loved Coach Green. He's just so wise, knew the game very well. But, at first, I was a little bit nervous, because Coach Sherard, came in kind of right before we, really kicked it off in the fall and everything like that. But honestly, it's been very smooth. Love Coach Sherard and what he's doing. And we've just been able to, learn from him and everything. And I feel like team-wise, too, we do like having him here.
I guess, for the outsider, what's the biggest difference between a Coach Green, let's say a Coach Green practice, and a Coach Sherard practice? A Coach Green locker room pregame, postgame, and a Coach Sherard pregame, postgame?
Let me think. Pre-game, post-game, both of them are very relaxed and chill, honestly. I think Coach Sherard's a little bit more stern, he kind of gives you the eyes, sometimes or whatever. So I'd say he's a little bit more stern, but good, not crazy. Practice-wise, I think most of us girls would say practices are a little bit shorter with Coach Sherard, but so Coach Green's are just a little bit longer, but that's pretty much the only difference. I would say we did a lot more rebounding drills with Coach Green, but that's just Coach Green. We still do rebounding though. We still do rebounding, but Coach Green, that was almost, I felt like half the practice. I'm I haven't even gotten a shot up. I'm just over here with the guys beating my body up. So I would say probably those two things. I don't know. It's kind of hard because Coach Lex was under Coach Green for so long. So it's in the one sense he's kind of just a disciple, he's just right next up, but he does kind of have his few things. He really likes to take time before our film sessions to we have a QOTD where we talk about the quote of the day, and so just a lot of almost reflection and thinking like that, so which I really like.
So if they're the calm person in the room, I think that, of course, even the calm person can be the bad cop a little bit. So they can be good cop and bad cop. But then usually if there's a calm person, there's going to be a high energy person too on the coaching staff. So, give us some insight. Give us the skinny. Who's the screamer and the yeller and the hype man, hype woman?
Right. I would probably say Coach Lee, Coach Amber. We call her Goat Lee. Goatly is our nickname for Amber. She's more of our hype, more of our loud, getting on us for sure. But it's good. We need that accountability. So we joke around with her, but we need it. We need that.
The diversity on the team we talked about, so many different parts of the world and different, I don't know, languages and philosophies on life and everything. But the coaching staff's a little bit like that too.
Yeah.
Because Coach Sherard, he's an NBA guy, and and Coach Green was a hunter, a fisherman, you know. Coach Katie and Coach Andy are from, more like the Midwest, and Coach Brad is a new voice this year that's completely different. You've got Emma Hess as a coach now, and you mentioned Amber, and I'm probably forgetting somebody between the managers and the rest of the staff. There's other people from other parts of the world and the country, so there's a lot of diversity on the staff as well. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's just it just what makes Liberty. I feel like we're all literally from different parts of the world, different families, whatever. But like we all just come together, and like it's great.
How has the transition been for you going from the redshirt year where you're traveling and you're practicing, but you're not playing, to now getting in? And I know it's probably been a slower process than you would have liked. But you seem to be kind of the defensive stopper, if it's late in the game and when we need to get a couple of stops, that's usually your time to shine. So maybe not the minutes that you would have liked this year, and that's probably continuing to grow as the season goes along. But overall, how would you say that transition from redshirt to now is?
Yeah, I didn't really know exactly how the transition would be, especially minutes wise. And I really just into this year wasn't coming in expecting really anything. I wasn't saying I deserve this or whatever. Really just going in, continuing to do what I do, grow, learn the game, learn the system, especially with Coach Lex coming in. Even though it's kind of similar to Coach Green, it's still different. We're now under his leadership. So yeah, I mean, in the one sense, it's not too much different. Still practicing everything like that, traveling, all the different stuff. But, now I get to put on the jersey, So that's been really, really cool, really getting the game day feel. And yeah, I've just been honestly just controlling what I can control. Whatever minutes I get for the game, I'm going to go in there, do my job. Yeah, like you said, I'm kind of a little defensive specialist, I guess you could say. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of my role, especially in high school as well. Just really getting those stops, getting on their best player, doing what I need to do. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of been my mentality this year. Control what you can control, go out there, perform, and give it your all with what you have.
And minutes aside, the fact that the staff trusts you to be in key moments late in ball games, I mean, that's got to be encouraging.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, again, everybody wants to be, playing the whole game, but yeah, when I'm being counted on and trusted on, that's what I love. That's really what drives me. And so I really do appreciate that, and so again, just do what I can do with what I have.
Well, the last question for you, and I don't know if it's a question as much as it is a statement, there's a lot of things that have brought this team together. It seems like there's a great unity and chemistry in the group. You guys play a game that I've talked to just about everybody about so far. I won't bug you with that part, but the bus rides, there's this chatter of playing your game on your phone. Everybody's in on it. But then also there was a trip where the hotel had a little common area in the bottom floor, and the karaoke machine came out, and everybody was singing, and you were right in the middle of that, if not kind of leading the conga lines and the line dancing. You were right there, so that seems like that's in your wheelhouse.
Yes, I love anything fun. I just love being with the team. That is just my thing. I love to get other people out of their comfort zone. I'm dragging Emmy with me. I'm dragging Z with me. Just having that joy, that's what it's all about, and, we do talk about it, basketball is a game, and it's very important to us. Yes. But all of these memories and stuff, off the court, that's what really matters. And that's what we're going to take on with us, throughout our whole life. And so I really do try to make the most of it, especially these trips, because they're not going to last, but those memories do.
And you get musical background as well. So
yes.
you've played a little piano, I think, if I remember right.
I did when I was younger. Yeah. And then my brother plays a bunch of instruments, and I have some other family members that sing. So I'm not necessarily like the top, when it comes to the musical, but like I've got a little bit.
So your karaoke is not out of your comfort zone at all.
No. Like we do that like already with family. Like when I go back home, we're always singing, dancing, all that kind of stuff.
All right, we've got about a minute left, and the last time we talked, you mentioned that even though psychology is your major, that you've had a little interest in doing you like to talk, basically, you said. And so, you could have seen yourself doing sideline reporting, or you could have seen yourself doing podcasts and things like that. If you had an opportunity to, let's flip the roles for just a second, and you get to ask a question, what question would you ask? How would you wrap up this conversation?
Oh, how would I wrap up asking you something?
Yeah.
Well, I've actually wanted to ask, like, how did you get into doing this yourself? Like, what motivated you to one, like, be here at Liberty doing it, but first off, like, just doing radio?
That's a very good question, and it has a very embarrassing answer.
Oh no.
Well, sort of. If I go back to when I was probably 7 years old, 6, 7 years old, something like that, I used to always, and this, you're going to go, where are you going here? I would watch the Weather Channel.
Okay.
And I wanted to be a meteorologist. That was, as a kid, I wanted to be a meteorologist, but I also loved sports. I love baseball.
When I was younger, wanted to be a meteorologist.
Wow.
Yes, like at first. And then I was like, okay, no, that's boring. But like, yes, I agree.
Well, yes, there we go. So did you want to be a baseball player?
No. Can't relate on that.
We can connect here. So that was kind of the two things. I love baseball, but I also love the weather. And maybe it was as a kid, you like snow and want to know if you're going to miss school and stuff like that. So maybe that was part of it. But I remember at 7 years old, we had a cassette recorder at my grandmother's house, and I would record myself either doing the weather or reading off the sports scores and things like that. And so then that was always kind of the thing. As time went on, it got to a point where I had to realize in high school that I just wasn't, I was good. I could defend pretty well, but I couldn't hit the ball very well.
Oh, no.
So pretty much, if you can't hit the ball very well, you're not going to be a baseball player. So you have to make that choice at that point. So I thought, well, let me try to get into announcing. And so then there was no radio station in our town doing our ball games, but they did have the PA system, and so they let me do that. And then I was looking through. This is how, I've given away my age a little bit. I was looking through a giant catalog that had all the different colleges and universities in it, and I looked, and you could sort by like communications, and I didn't want to go too far away, but I didn't want to be in Tennessee. I didn't want to be right where I grew up.
Yeah.
And so there was a few, that I won't, the ones that I passed over. But then Liberty was the first time I ever heard of Liberty. I had no idea where Liberty was, but I thought, okay, Lynchburg, that's not too far away. It was about a 5-hour drive from where I lived, and about 2 hours from where my dad lived at the time. And so I thought, okay, let me check this place out. Came up for a college for a weekend, and here we are.
That is
all
so
those years
cool.
later. Yep.
That's so cool. Yeah, I'd been meaning to ask you that, and so perfect opportunity.
All right, we'll have to talk weather sometime.
Yeah.
There's some weather coming in this weekend. Maybe we can look at we can look at the forecast models.
I told you that was like back in my my super young. Now I'm like, no.
Well, we rekindle that. Rekindle that interest. Maybe.
Sure.
This is the time of year. If you live in San Diego and you're a wearderman there or weatherwoman,
sunny.
It's the same thing every day. But at least here we've got seasons, and now there's a storm coming, and could get a foot of snow, or it might be cold rain, and having to figure out what it is. It's a little more exciting here than some places.
That's very true.
I feel like you could probably be a meteorologist in your sleep in Hawaii. You just kind of wake up, okay, well, we might rain a little bit. But that's it. Otherwise, you're in paradise. Calm down.
For sure.
Why do you care what the weather's going to be?
No,
just go
literally.
outside and enjoy it,
Seriously.
Well, Maleah, it's always fun to catch up, and we wish you nothing but best the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
We're back with head coach Alexis Sherard right after this here on the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show.
Turn up the heat
Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels and the Liberty Flames.
Lynchburg Nissan's model year in sales event is on, and the savings are huge. Remaining 25 models are tariff-free and have 0% up to 60 months. Discounts up to $7,100 off MSRP, and new cars starting at $18,950. Lynchburg Nissan is ready to pay up to 130% of fair KBB for your trade, too. We also offer guaranteed credit approval. Inventory is limited and selling fast. Stop by or schedule your appointment at lynchburgnissan.com, home of the million-mile warranty.
You're listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Today's show will continue after this 1-minute timeout on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Rogers Heating, Cooling, Electrical, and Plumbing. Your certified Generac backup generator experts. Online at callrogers.com.
The light from a star can take millions of years to reach Earth. So when you look at a star, you're looking back in time. But I see the future. I see exploration and courage. I see my country finding new horizons out there. And I see giant leaps making a comeback. I see myself. The future is where I'll make history.
This message is brought to you by the United States Space Force. More information is available at spaceforce.mil.
Thompson Brooks Insurance has been serving Virginia for over 35 years, helping individuals and businesses with their insurance and investment needs. The team at Thompson Brooks is experienced in understanding Medicare, retirement planning, life insurance, the healthcare marketplace, and group insurance benefits. Call Thompson Brooks Insurance at 434-385-8500. That's 434-385-8500, or visit them online at thompsonbrooksinsurance.com. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow.
Have you downloaded the Liberty Flames mobile app? If not, what are you waiting for? The Liberty Flames mobile app is your lifeline to Flames athletics. Get the latest news on your favorite teams, find upcoming schedules, buy and download tickets to the next game, listen to podcasts, and hear our online Liberty Flames Sports Network audio broadcasts.
Pass caught into the end zone. Light 'em up. Touchdown, Liberty.
It's all on the Liberty Flames mobile app. Download it for free from your mobile app store today.
Back. We're now here with head coach Alexis Sherard. Coach, welcome in.
Thanks for having me, Jamie.
I know, 3-game losing streaks in any sport at any time is not the most fun thing to have to talk about. But the good news is there's a lot of season left. And you never want to lose 3 games in a row, but losing it early in the conference gives you time to kind of recoup that. And let's start off with a game at Delaware, and you run into another team that's shooting the ball well. And I think we talked about afterwards, what percentage of that is your team didn't defend as well as you would like, and what percentage of that is Delaware made shots that maybe they don't normally make? 50-50, 75-25, it's...
I don't remember exactly what we said last time, but I think it's a combination of both of them. But from a coaching perspective, we want to just focus on our defensive principles and trying to prevent these players from having career nights or scoring X amount of points over their average So that's something we want to focus on. But, yeah, I mean, 3 games, losing streak, you never want to be in that predicament. But here we are. I think the most important thing, the ladies that we have in a locker room, they're amazing young ladies. They're resilient. They're really locked in. They're still trusting the process. We have a great group of young ladies. I love to coach them every single day. They actually had a team meeting yesterday that, to my understanding, went excellent. So I think the quote was they should have a fire in their belly for practice today and moving forward. So, you obviously want to win every game, but, you want to win the right way. You want to lose the right way. And with this group of ladies, there's no doubt, I'll go to war with this team any day.
I'm going to say this probably in a very clunky way, but as a fan, and from my perspective, you go media, okay, yeah, I'm not unbiased. I'm not going to pretend like I'm unbiased. I'm a fan too. I've been around this squad for a long time. And when you lose as much as you did after last season, between graduation and transfer portal and everything, 70-some-odd% of everything, offense, rebounding, assists, everything, it's hard to really know what the expectations are coming into the next year. Is that kind of a moving target almost, even for you as the head coach, to go, okay, where really, where are things we need to improve on? Where are areas that maybe we're not going to be able to be where we thought we were going to be this year because there's just not as many things in the tool shed? And what are some areas that you can take advantage of?
Well, this is definitely a unique year. I mean, last year's team was last year's team. Losing 70% of our offense, obviously that takes a toll. Like I said, I do love this team, but it's a different team. It's a younger team. Last year, had a lot of leadership, a lot of veterans, a lot of upperclassmen. This year's the complete opposite. So, I've been saying from day one, we're just learning how to win. We're learning each other. I'm learning the team's learning me, the staff as well. We're in transition. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, you can't just look at that roster and, look at the names that have graduated, names that have left and say it's not transition. Just so many new faces. Everyone's in a new role. But like I said, I think we're very, very talented. We're working hard. We're moving in the right direction. But we're still learning how to win with a young team, with youth. That comes inconsistencies, and I think that's what we're experiencing now. Good quarters, bad quarters, great running spree, and then running a scoring drought. So just trying to minimize those inconsistencies, but not surprised, almost to be expected with the youth and the experience we have with this team. But I just love their grit. I love their perseverance. I love their fight. This team plays to the very end. They never give up. There's no big internal bickering. They're doing a great job loving each other, praying for each other, and keeping their eyes on the prize and trusting the process.
I guess I say that partially to the fans to kind of to be patient, because losing 3 games is not acceptable, and I don't want to make it seem like you or your staff or your players feel like that it's acceptable to especially that game at Delaware is a game that really it seemed like you guys would have been favorites in going into that basketball game. So I'm not trying to say to sugarcoat. A loss is still something to learn from, and you guys want to win those games that you're losing. But overall, just a level of kind of patience, because it is such a young team, and some players are still, even, we're halfway through the year, but they're still learning their role because their role has changed from last year. You're still learning your role. Your role has changed from last year. So I guess patience is the word, I guess, of the day.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I like that word. I like patience. I don't like the word excuses, because we don't want to make excuses. We don't want to settle. We don't want to be content. We always want to strive to be the best, and that's our goal. Our goal is to win a championship. But it's a process, and this isn't a kind of a microwave type of organization, a microwave game where you just pop it in and pop it out. You need to really season it well. You got to cook it, got to keep it in the oven. It takes a couple of hours, and with this young team, again, we're just trusting the process, and we're going to continue to work as hard as we can to try to come as close to achieving our goals as possible.
I guess to oversimplify the Delaware game, if you had to just say what went wrong in that game, what would your first reaction be?
Well, there were quite a few players that scored above their average. So again, that's probably going to fall back on our defense. We have to stay consistent. But I would say, I think that's been a common denominator these last couple of games, just consistent defense for 40 minutes. We had glimpses of greatness. Obviously we were down one of our starters, and obviously that put us, a little bit of a disadvantage, you know what I mean? But again, no excuses. I mean, the players that we have, I thought we were capable of getting the W at the end of the day. But, just didn't put it all together for the full 40 minutes, which is what it takes. I always talk about the level of intensity it takes to be successful in this conference. We just have to be there for the full 40 minutes.
You alluded to Ife Nwabi being the player that was injured. How has her recovery process gone this week?
It seems to be kind of a slow process, but it's moving forward with optimism. So, I can't say too much. But, moving forward with a lot of optimism. Not sure exactly when exactly she'll be back, but we're hoping that praying that she's back soon.
And Jacayla Thompson comes into she checks into the starting lineup and has an outstanding game against Delaware. I know it's tough to celebrate for her in a loss how well she played, but she had a career high. No, she was tremendous. I mean, she brings she usually is that punch off the bench, that Vinnie Johnson microwave off the bench. I like it. But, obviously putting her into the starting lineup helps us, but then it also hurts us just with regards to our bench productivity. And I think it was 14-0 bench points against Delaware. So, anytime you're a starter down, that poses challenges. But, JT, to her credit, she responded well. I think she may have started one or two other games this season. She does whatever she's asked to do. She's an unbelievable human being. She's an unbelievable family, great character. And, she's her athleticism, her strength, her defensive prowess, her activity on defense just helps us across the board. But, as I said, depth is in the game of basketball, you need the depth. And obviously that kind of hurts our bench and the availability of other players that can contribute. So after the 76-69 loss up at Delaware, now you stay on this road swing. Of course, you're at home for a few days in between, but you go right back out on the road to play Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. There is some uncertainty with the weather that everyone's talking about in Lynchburg that's going to hit on, say, Saturday into Sunday. It's going to hit a little sooner in Middle Tennessee. It might hit Friday into Saturday. I guess before we talk basketball, have you gotten any indication that game could be in jeopardy if the weather is as bad as maybe it could be?
Well, as of now, there's open dialogue just with regards to that game and the possibilities. All the options are being currently discussed. And that's from having the game at current game time to all the way to cancellation of the game. So it's Tuesday. It's very difficult to predict the weather there then at that time. But, I think all the channels of communication are open, and they are exploring all options given, the uncertainty of the weather that weekend.
As a coach, do you have to kind of play psychologist a little bit to get those distractions out of the girls' heads? Because I remember, as a student, if there was calling for snow on Wednesday and I had an exam on Wednesday, I stopped thinking about that exam because I was already planning on not being there for it. Right. And so do you have to kind of say, don't worry about that, prep for Western Kentucky first? We're going to assume we're playing 2 basketball games, and until we're told otherwise, go forward with that thought.
Well, thank the Lord, the ladies are much better students than you and I were back in the day.
Very true.
So I think they're pretty much locked in. Our team, they do a pretty good job just going focusing on one game at a time. I mean, we always say the next game is the most important game of the year simply because it's the next game. So, and again, this information I'm sharing, this is just, behind the scenes administrative conversation. So, we'll play Thursday. We really won't talk about Saturday too much. We'll obviously implement things during the course of practice these next couple of days subliminally in preparation of the next 2 games. But we only talk about our next opponent. And after Thursday, I'm sure we'll have more information by then as well. So we just try to control what we can control and just leave what we can't up to the powers that be.
The first game on Thursday at Western Kentucky, if you're following from the East Coast, 7:30 start time, 6:30 local if you're going to go to the basketball game, which we would certainly encourage you to do. And there's some fans, some parents and some fans that are at every single game, and you look up at Hawaii and you go, wow, they're everywhere. So there should be some fans that are probably going to be heading out. But Western Kentucky having a season probably not as good as they would have expected, with only the 5 wins, a net ranking kind of around 300. This is a team that's used to being in and around 100, or if not the top 100. And if you go back a few years, Sweet 16 type teams and top 25 type teams. So not the season they have expected, but sometimes you run into some really hungry teams when they're in those spots.
Yes, I think Western Kentucky is another team that got hit hard by graduation and a transfer portal. So, I think, they're learning how to win as well. But, I think every team, they're, that's not playing well at this time, they're very hungry. They're looking for a win. And I think Western Kentucky, they're very talented. They pose a lot of problems. They have that 5-out offense. They have good size. Their post players are their leading scorers. Both their 5 and Talegda and Kader are both leading scorers for Western Kentucky. So, hungry cat hunts best. So I think all the records, all the preseason polls are out the window. I tell our team we have to be better than our opponent on that particular day for 40 minutes, game time about 2 hours. So, we have to prepare and be ready to play and just reach that level of intensity it takes to be successful.
I know it's one game at a time, and you said you kind of work some things in subliminally, for the second game of a week set in your a weekend set as far as practice is concerned. But I know the fans, they've circled, and I'm sure the fans in Murfreesboro just as much as the fans in Lynchburg, the rematch from the last 2 Conference USA championship games. Middle Tennessee, Coach Insel always, and they're in a rebuilding process. They lost a lot from last year. Their record's probably not what we come to expect with Middle Tennessee basketball, but they've also got a lot of talent as well, just younger talent that's learning to win too. So I know from a coach, you're not going to talk to the players much about Middle Tennessee right now, but I know the fans that are kind of curious about it. What's your take on the Lady Raiders so far this season?
I think they are very talented. I'm not sure. I don't even believe they have one player from that team last year on the team this year. I know Gregory is now on a coaching staff. She was obviously a tremendous shooter from the team last year. She's now coaching. But, they are very, very talented. They're very, very young. But they shoot the ball. They do a great job defensively. They pressure the ball. They're great in transition. So, again, the record, I think their records are deceiving as well, because I think they have pretty good talent. And I'm sure with just the transition, all the new players and new roles, just as ourselves, they are learning how to win. So I think it should be a very, very good game.
Well, Coach, as you continue to kind of learn the ins and outs of being a head coach, I don't think I think you knew coming in, well, the X's and O's for sure, game planning, kind of behind the scenes management, psychologist. I mean, you knew all that stuff came with coaching. I don't know if you realized that meteorology was going to come with it or not, and having to learn about weather models and where lows are moving off the coast, determining whether or not you're going to get to play a basketball game or not. But just part of it, I guess. I mean, it all kind of comes together as far as the role of being the CEO of a basketball team.
Yeah, I don't think there's any strict or permanent job description when it comes to head coaches. I think it's a moving piece. It's fluid. That job description is fluid. So, but we just we try to be flexible, come what may. We just try to gather as much information as we can. I think information empowers you, helps you make good decisions, and we have unbelievable resources. We have unbelievable people on staff, support staff, people like yourself as well included on that. So, I'm provided with a lot of information, and but at the end of the day, my job is to prepare this team, have them ready to play, maximize their potential, and try to win basketball games.
Sounds good, Coach. We wish you the best moving forward this week.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
There's head coach Alexis Sherard. If you want more information about, if you wanted the tickets to go to that game, to the WKU or the Middle Tennessee game, you can certainly find that on their respective websites. But if you want info about the game notes, the radio and television broadcast, the recaps that Paul Carmody puts out after each ball game, any of that info, you can go to libertyflames.com. You can also get caught up with the Lady Flames on the Liberty Flames app right there on your cell phone. And then the social media accounts will have the booth cam and a lot of different ways that you can kind of follow along with the Lady Flames on Facebook, Twitter, X now, and Instagram, and so on. So we certainly appreciate everybody tuning in again this week on the Lady Flames Women's Basketball Show. And until we talk to you again from the western side of Kentucky on Thursday night at 7:30, this is Jamie Hall saying so long and God bless.
You've been listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show with head coach Alexis Sherard on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Today's show has been presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show has also been brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time. Carter Bank. Life lived full. Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Lynchburg Nissan, nobody beats our prices, nobody. Rogers Heating and Cooling, servicing Greater Lynchburg's HVAC and electrical needs. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow. And by the United States Space Force. Liberty Flames Basketball is an exclusive presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.